Alright, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back. This is your host Jester here, and today I kind of want to talk about something that I'm bringing back to my channel, something that's new and something I want to talk about. And I think it was going to be really good for you guys and something that's really going to help my channel grow. And it's actually something that's really subscriber based and subscriber friendly, and hopefully you guys really enjoy it. And basically what the series is called is Let's Talk, and what that means is let's just talk. It's just me basically talking to you guys about gaming things coming up, and not like reviews. You know how I do my reviews about Street Fighter and things like that. It's nothing to do with that or anything with news wise. It's basically frequently asked questions I get on my YouTube comments or Twitch, kind of like a Q&A, but it's a Q&A that's brought into more detail. I'll basically take a question that I think is really good or that I think really has some meaning to it and that I can hit on a very high level, and then I will completely talk to you guys about it. And the one I'm doing today is I actually got a question on my Twitch multiple times just from playing Mortal Kombat, which I thought was really interesting. The question, it was like, Jester, do you use an arcade stick? Now, for most of you people out there, especially being young, I was born in '93, so I kind of got the privilege to play in an arcade. And I'm gonna kind of explain what the arcade stick is. So there's two things that we really need to talk about today in this video. The first one is, what is an arcade stick or a fight stick? And second thing is, why do a lot of people choose it over your normal basic controller? Well, the first thing is, an arcade stick is basically an arcade stick. Most of you guys who were born around higher than '93 never got the privilege to see this. Unfortunately, I do apologize, but basically it's the arcade. If you go in the arcade, you still kind of see them around sometimes. Maybe you'll see one, you know, in like a Walmart, or, you know, laundromat has some things like that. You might come into like an arcade thing that has the fight stick. Basically it's a little joy stick with the 8 buttons that are sitting there. That is what a fight stick is. It basically takes that from an arcade, puts it on a stick for home console use. Now you'll see a lot of old school fighters, or a lot of old school people, or whoever you want to call them, fighters, gamers, use this because they grew up on this. I was born in '93, so I didn't really get the privilege to get into the arcades. I did play a little bit of arcade when I was little, but arcades kind of died down as I got older. I wish I was born in the '90s, like kind of like late '80s, early '90s. I guess you could say. I kind of wanted to see it, so I did get my chance to get a little bit of arcade time, and I really had a lot of fun with that, going into arcades and just blowing quarters on Mortal Kombat 4. I'll never forget Mortal Kombat 4. So that's why you see a lot of people using arcade sticks, just because, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, arcades were a huge thing. There was no such thing as home consoles. So a lot of people had arcade sticks, and they were just so fundamentally used to it, you know, going in there hours at a time playing on this arcade system, you know, blowing $50-$60 in the arcade, and they were just so used to that stick that they never kind of left it. Home console sticks weren't used to them. So now to answer your question, that kind of answers, you know, what is an arcade stick, kind of wraps it up. Basically, a lot of people like arcade sticks. It's kind of memorization and repetition. The reason why a lot of people like arcade sticks, besides, you know, the fact that they grew up with them, is because all your buttons are laid out right in front of you. What I mean by that is you have 4 buttons at the top and you have 4 buttons at the bottom. Most arcade sticks. The one I own has 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, and I have the Injustice limited edition on top of the Mortal Kombat one, and I got the Street Fighter Ultra. I'm getting the Street Fighter Ultra edition fight stick very soon because they just released the limited edition one. It's super sick. But anyway, getting off topic. Sorry guys. But basically the fight stick has 4 buttons at the top, 4 buttons at the bottom. A lot of people set them up. How I set mine up is light kick or light punch, or the top button being light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, and then all the punch buttons together, because I play a lot of Street Fighter. And then my bottom one, same thing with the kicks: light kick, medium kick, heavy kick, all the kicks together to execute ultras and supers. And people play it a different way. You can set your fight stick up however you want it. I like to set it up like that because when I play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, my launch button's my very far buttons on the right, so I use my other 2 buttons for nothing, basically. So it's really nice, and I really love that setup, and it's really awesome. So it's kind of nice because the button set's right there. You don't have to, like, you know, put your hands on the back triggers to do this execution wise, and you don't have to play on a D-pad. You have a ball stick, which is a whole lot easier to pull circles and half circles and quarter circles and things like that. So that's why a lot of people like fighting sticks. Now, another question I got is, if you're new to the fighting game, should I get a fight stick? Now, if you're completely new at this, I would say pick up a fight stick and play with a controller and a gamepad. You got to pick up all 3 of them, play with all 3 of them, and see how you like them. especially starting out early, because if you never played a fighting game and you play on controller, it's not going to be extremely hard for you to adjust to a fight stick. You should make that adjustment very, very easily. So I would really suggest you pick it up, try it out. If you don't like it, switch to controller, and then switch to the gamepad, which is the same thing as a fight stick. It's just controller based. And see if you actually like it. Starting out early like that is really good, so you can kind of get the fundamentals of each device, and you can kind of see how it plays, and kind of get your feel and touch and things like that on it. So I would definitely, if you're a new fighter or coming to the new fighting game series, I would definitely suggest you get all three, try them out, kind of work with them, put your time into them. Don't pick it up for 5 hours and be like, I hate this. And then, you know, it takes weeks of practice to get into a fighting game, whether you're using a controller, gamepad, or a fighting stick. It's going to take some practice to get the fundamentals and basics of the game down. So don't give it up, keep trying it. I'm sure it will come to you and you'll start to like it and adjust more and things like that. And then you can go ahead and get into your, you know, you can switch after a couple weeks of playing each. So as a new fighter, if you're just bad at the game, and you know you're playing with the controller, and I haven't been playing with the controller in years and I just haven't gotten any better, I would not suggest you switch. A stick is not going to make you better. It's not. If you've been playing with the controller, you have that fundamentals down, you know that controller in and out. It's just practice and repetition on the controller. There's no really any point. I mean, you could try switching to a fight stick. It might make execution a little easier for you, but I would not recommend it, especially starting out, you know, being, you know, at the skill level that you are. Even though you're not doing so great and you've been playing fighting games, you know, for 6 or 7 years, a stick's not exactly going to help you. It might help you on some execution, especially with Street Fighter and things like half circles, you know, quarter circles, full circles, and things like that. That might make your execution a little better, so that can improve. But if you're playing, you know, Mortal Kombat or something that has no circles or nothing, and you've been playing on controller all your life and you switch to a stick, you're going to have a very, very hard time dishing out some of these combos. So I wouldn't suggest it. Now, as far as me, a lot of people ask me if I use a stick, and my question is yes and no. When I play a Mortal Kombat game or NetherRealm game or something that has to do with that type of fighting game, Dead or Alive, things like that, I will play with a controller because it's really down forward, down back forward, and things like that for combos. And I really don't see the point in having a stick because I play with the circle ring that's in the stick. So it's really hard to do combos like that, and I'll end up throwing out things that I do not like or do not want to do. So I try to avoid a stick with games like that at all. Now, I will play it if I'm playing something such as Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter Third Strike, and Street Fighter 5. I will play a stick because a stick is a whole lot easier for me to use at that moment. So I use both. Did it take me a long time to learn both? Absolutely. It took me about probably 6 months to learn to play with the stick because I was so used to controller. I started playing fighting games back on the N64 and the Sega Genesis, so it was very I was so used to controller. And even when I started playing, you know, Mortal Kombat 9 and Guilty Gear and things like that on the 360, Ultra Street Fighter 4 on the 360 using the Xbox controller, it was very hard for me to learn things. So I had to switch over to a stick for games like that. But Mortal Kombat with the controller, I always played with the controller. I don't find any point in me ever using a fight stick for it. Some people can play it, not just me. I just think it's a lot of work with your fingers, and it's just not worth it. But as far as Street Fighter does, I will use the stick, absolutely. And people are like that. Some people play with sticks for certain games, some people don't. Maximilian's a good example, great YouTuber, plays with sticks when he's playing Street Fighter 4, plays with controller when he's playing MK. So like I said, it just depends on the person that you are. Some can use both, some cannot. But this is just kind of, like I said, this is just my let's talk. It's basically spitting some of my mind out here. Leave in the comment section, guys, what you guys think. You know, am I talking crazy here, like I have no clue what I'm talking about? Or, you know, leave your comments down saying your experiences with a fight stick or a controller. Tell me what you guys think. Like, you know, I like a stick better, I like a controller. You know, is it hard for you? Also, give each other tips. I mean, if you're really good with a fight stick, teach others how to play with a fight stick. I might be doing tutorials and things like that as well. But just leave your comments down. Once again, we just hit 67 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are really awesome. I'm bringing out content as fast as I fucking can. I promise you I am. It's just, it's been a rough week, and I'm learning, you know. I'm still learning, trying to give you the best quality content that I can possibly give you guys at the moment. Like I said, so much love to you guys. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate everything that you did for me, and I will totally see you guys for the next video. So always, guys, remember, stay majestic. Peace.